Hello and welcome to Hey Clarity. I'm your host, Lindsay, and today we are opening the Akashic Records on memory. So this is M week of the alphabet superset. There will be more information about that in the description box below. So on the topic of memory, we're going to be asking the questions, what is memory? How do we develop it? How do we lose it? How accurate is our memory to the truth? Why do we have memory? What are step-by-step ways to improve our memory? What outside factors affect our memory, retention or loss? And then what's the most important message we need to know about memory? So let's get into it. I said the opening prayer and opened the records prior to hitting record. So we're in the Akashic Records of memory now. So with the foundational question, what is memory? They're saying time recording and mind records, thinking, mind thinking. And then they just said thinking overwhelmed. Thinking overwhelms and like overloads. The mind of memory, and they're just like blah, blah, blah. Like they're just showing like as if there's like books on a shelf and something about like thinking overloads to the mind, this like stack of books on a shelf, just like domino effect kind of fall to the side. Why are you showing us that? They're just saying overwhelm, like thinking overwhelm can tumbles memory can affect the quality of your memory. So it's like you can have these like stacked books, like these lined up books on a shelf, but then when there's like overthinking and like thinking overwhelm about the memories, it almost like they're saying there's like a tumbling. It's like it happened, it happens, it's happening. It happened, past, present, it's happening. It will happen, future. There's something that they're saying about like, they're saying memorable, like thinking memorable, overthinking memorable. Anything else? What is memory? They're saying simplified is time recordings and mind records. How do we develop memory? How do we develop our memory? They're saying like it's like reinstated. It's like something's happening and then there's like confirmation around you. It's like there's like a person in the center of a circle and something happens. There's like an experience. And there's something about there's like you experience the thing and then having this kind of like accountable framework of like other people reflecting that thing back to you helps kind of like solidify the moment. So they're kind of saying like for the moments, almost like taking a picture, like you can take a picture and then having the confirmation of almost like external factors, like affirming, saying like, yes, these things happen, this thing happened. So like it gets amplified as memories. They amplify when we're in relationship to each other, when we have connections with other things that are like, solidifying the moment and the experience and like in your mind. So it's like you can have, they're saying like solidified in a moment, like you can have the moment, you can experience the moment and you could remember something, but it is more memorable once there's like more attention on it, so like more eyes on it, and you're talking about it with other people, like, hey, like friends, family, whatever, like remember that thing, and like everyone remembers it, so it's like, yes, we like confirm that we remember that together. But there is something about like, like some memories are almost like harder when they're saying solo, like when it's just you. When it's just you, it might like slip away a little more easily versus having the like reconnection with other people, confirming and affirming the experience the moment that you happened. So that's interesting. So how do we develop memory? They're saying like we do it better like with each other. So like confirming these things with each other is how it's like more solidified. They're like tallying, keeping score like together. They're really giving me the sense that like when you're like isolated or you're experiencing something alone, like the deep impact of it, like you have to have like a determination to remember it, or it has to be something that's so deeply impactful solo that you don't forget it. But I'm getting the sense that our memory by ourselves, like just us, is, they're kind of saying, a little bit less accountable than when there are witnesses and other people who we share each other's experiences. And it's like not to say that you can't like remember things very well if you experience them by yourself, but it's just more amplified and less forgetful when there are people like bringing it up and reminding you, and you have the shared experience of things. How do we lose memory? How do we lose memory? They're saying when there's like kind of like no like gratification, when there's no gratification in a moment, like it almost like it doesn't matter, right? So they're like every moment of your life matters, but also like might not be very important, right? So they're just like, if you don't have like gratification for a moment, like if you sit still and you're just like, this moment, and you bask in this moment, depending on what your interconnection is to your environment and the things around you, it may or may not be memorable, right? So many things are not very important. And so they're saying like they like slip through your fingers, they slip away. So we lose memory when we like, they're saying when we don't have that like confirmation and affirmation with each other, togetherness, these shared experiences. So we lose our memory. Interesting. Okay. So they're showing like as we get older, part of the retention of memory depends on your togetherness, like the shared experiences, like reminding each other, like, remember when we did this, remember this. And so they're showing like, as we get older, and they're saying like, the elder population, if there aren't people around them, the slipping away of the memory is just like, you don't have anyone around you to bounce these ideas off with. And so like your memory starts like slipping away because they're saying like, maybe there's not like a shared gratification of it. Like you'll have your like poignant moments. You'll have those potent, memorable experiences that just stick with you because they're like in your heart. But so many things, you're not like, your brain isn't, they're saying like the gym, like your brain isn't like working out and like, like getting together with people and like reminiscing on your life experiences. And so they slip away because it's like, if you don't have anyone to, connect with and share in those conversations and talk about those memories, then they slip away. You're not like reinstating, you're not reinforcing the experience to like keep it going. And so that's why they're saying like when we get older, if we're not interconnected, if we're not having these connections, if we're not communicating and talking with friends and family and, you know, sharing our experiences with each other and remembering things, the memories fade because they're not being reinforced. And so they're showing like, you know, our neural pathways, and like we have these neural pathways and we think about things and we dig those trenches deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, right? And so there's something about if you're not reinforced and continuing to dig, you know, they're like, it's like, you know, just like our habits and our patterns. Like you can change a pattern by like doing something different and like not doing that thing, that pattern anymore, that behavioral pattern, that habit, whatever, that thought process. You can change it with the practice of doing something new, right? Creating these new neuro pathways. And they're saying it's the same thing with memory, right? So you've got these like they're showing like the depths of the memories and the experiences, just like our habits and our behaviors and our thought patterns. They're deep. And then if they're not thought about, they're saying like thought provoking, like if there's no thought provoking the experience, the memory, then it kind of like boop, 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 like it kind of fades, or they're even showing like it kind of like dries up, like this little well dries up. And so that's how we lose memory. And so they're saying like sharing your experience is very important. Like having people who, you know, to talk and listen to, you know, having that exchange of sharing in togetherness and like, you know, asking questions and, you know, sparking memory, right? Ask questions to spark memory. Like they're like, you know, we do these things about kind of present moment of like, how are you, da 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 da. And like they're saying we're very like future focused, like what are you up to, or what are you going to do, or what are your plans? But there's something about like we're not, like they're saying it's kind of like newer behavior patterns where we're not really like, we're not reminiscing as much. Like we're not like, hey, remember when? And they're saying that we have kind of like collectively, there's so much about like past and trauma, like past traumatic experiences, that we like don't want to think of the past. They're saying like, you know, globally, collectively, this is a common experience where we don't want to think of the past. And so they're saying unknown, like known, unknown, like we kind of prefer some of those experiences to be unknown, but like they're saying like past traumatic experiences can like erase your memory, right? By not wanting to go there, by not wanting to talk about it. And they're like, that's okay, but also like that does affect your memory, right? There's like the emotional discomfort and the mental discomfort of like past traumatic experiences. And so we don't always want to dig up that stuff. But they're saying because that stuff is so prominent on our memories, sometimes we like forget that there are these little like incredible, beautiful golden experiences, like, you know, right in between the traumatic experiences. And maybe because we don't want to touch the trauma, the past trauma conversation, we like skip over the entire like the good stuff, because they're like, you know, we have these chunks of trauma, boom, 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 but like right in between them, cut in between them, in the middle of them, before them, after them, sliced in the middle, like there are all these wonderful experiences too. And so they're saying it's a little bit of an exercise, it's a little bit of a process, it's a little bit of a stress to be open to like, you want to like work with your memory, you want to, you know, exercise, they're saying like your memorability. Like, can you go into those time frames where maybe there was like a chunk of your life, a year, 10 years, like however, whatever the chunk is that you don't want to think about? Can you go into it and be like, well, there were these golden nuggets, right? And they just showed me a photograph and they said photos help. Like photos are like the capturing of the moment. They're showing photography. They're like photographs, like just the importance. And also they're saying like the importance and the not importance of it. because there is something about, reminiscing on the past of like fond memories. And there's also like the natural experience of just letting things go and moving on and moving forward so that we can keep going. So basically they're saying like, well, this all came from how do we lose memory? They're saying it's choice. Like we choose. Initially we're choosing where we want our mind and our thoughts to go. They're saying like mind thinking, thought provoking. And if something from the past provokes something uncomfortable, we do not go there. And so we essentially, because we're willing, we have this intention, we initiate the erasure of that memory of that time. There's like some like good memories that get kind of lost in the shuffle, is what they're saying. So those are the ways that we can lose memory. How accurate is our memory to the truth? How accurate is our memory to the truth? I'm getting subject, past, hard to reconcile, hard to reconcile. They're giving me a lot, so I'm waiting for it to be simplified. Man. So they're like, sometimes an experience like rocks us to our whole physical core. And it's like your nerves, your muscles, the cerebral fluid in your brain and your body, like everything gets rocked by an experience and a moment. And the overwhelm of that can be both very clearly the truth of a situation, right? So it's like embedded in like the mind, body, spirit, like the holistic being of the memory. You can embody the memory. And that is what we tend to believe as truth. And there is something about the overwhelm and how we process it over the years that can make that experience change over time. They're saying it's hard to remember like an intense moment when there's so much overwhelm in that moment. So it's like, yes, it's true. And something about over time, that processing through the body and like you moving forward and you keep going and you keep evolving. And so you change as you get further away from that truth. And so your future, like yourself later on, looks and reflects back on that and may have different opinions based on your newer experiences, not the past experience. So it's kind of like it keeps moving and it keeps evolving. And so, yes, there's a truth. You can believe in the truth and the accuracy of the thing that happened to that point. But because they're saying they're showing if the processing keeps going, then that truth can change, right? The memory can change. The truth of that memory, the accuracy of that memory can evolve because you're evolving, because you keep moving and you keep going. Now they're also saying, they're showing someone in a very intense moment experience where they get so rocked to their core and they get locked into it. They get locked into the experience, so they're stuck in it. And so there's something about being like stuck in the experience and stuck in the truth. It's almost like you're frozen in time and the world around you changes and the people change and all this stuff changes, but you're locked into this experience. It's so interesting how they're showing that. And they're saying that's when you do no processing of the experience. You hold the moment. You hold on to the moment. You hold on to the experience. They're saying you create an embodied, stuck, stagnant, like truth in the experience. They're saying like emotional, mental, and sometimes physical, right? And spiritual. Like you can get really locked into a memory. And it's like the whole world is like flying by me and moving forward and I'm stuck in this spot. So the accuracy, how accurate is our memory to the truth? They're saying it's dependent on the choice to stay in that moment, to be locked and stuck in that moment, the memory, the experience, or to keep going. And they're saying it's not a choice for some. Some people don't have the awareness that they're stuck in a past experience. And the neural pathways and the subconscious mind are like the gears are running and they're turning and it's like you're almost like riding a bike in place. Like you think you're going somewhere, but you're not going anywhere. A stationary bike. Gears are turning, but you're not going anywhere. They're saying like stuck, stagnant in the moment, in the experience, in past experiences. So one more time, can we be super succinct? How accurate is our memory to the truth? They're just saying, keep going, keep moving. Like we're getting the invitation, like they're saying like, it's better to evolve your truth. Like it's better to keep going and to keep moving and almost to change the truth. Like let the truth evolve because you evolve. So they're saying like relativity and they're saying like media. They're showing like someone being interviewed when they're like a teenager. And then they're in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, and they watch this interview of themselves and they're like, oh my God, I remember when I was like that. Like, that's not my truth anymore. Like, I'm not like that anymore, right? So they're saying like truth changes as you change. And that's okay. Like something could have been a truth at one point, in a moment, in an experience. And it's very true. It was very true then. It doesn't have to be true now. It doesn't have to be true anymore. You want to keep going. You want to keep moving. You want to keep evolving and let those truths evolve. There's something about not having truth be rigid, not have it feel like this like stone wall keeping you stuck and stagnant. It's like let truth have this like transparency, right? They're saying like truth fascination with like, oh wow, like isn't it so interesting how that was true then and how things have changed and how things are true now? Like this natural evolution of changes, because they're saying truth changes. Like if you change, if you're changing, truth changes. And that's okay. And they said everything's okay. You're allowed to change. Truth is allowed to change. There's nothing about truth being this rigid thing, because your perspective of it, they're kind of saying it's not like you're lying or you're twisting, but you can have a higher level of a perspective of truth. So some truth can be like super twisted and dark, real, right? Real, they're saying. The truth can be twisted and dark and real, and it can evolve and clean up and clear up and have this higher level of a truth. And both can be true. And they're saying both can change. Why do we have memory? Why do we have memory? They're saying like human evolution, revolution, like a benchmark and a timeline to like gauge progress, to keep progressing. It's like you have to have these like notches on a timeline in a lifetime in history to be like, this was this notch at one point. Now it's this. Interesting. They're just saying like it's reference. Like it's simply reference. Why do we have memory? They're saying to keep evolution going, to keep progressing. Like it's all about human evolution. They're saying human revolution. Anything else? Why do we have memory? And then they're showing like the love and the fondness and the bonds between humans. They're actually saying like living things, like this like heart-centered, this like warm, heart-centered, loving bond between, they're saying each other and also species. So, and they're showing like, you know, humans and also like certain animals that have like longer retention or shorter retention, and like things that are memorable. They're saying like love, like memorable love, bond, warmth, connection. Like it's really about this, like this warmth and this bond and this loving connection. And they're saying like living things, but they're also saying like spirit living things, spiritual living things. Like part of the intention of like spirit, like us like dropping into these living forms, these human beings, animals too, certain animals, certain plants, they're saying. Like the reason that we drop into these bodies is to experience love, bond, connection. Love, bond, connection. Warm, heart-centered connections. What are some step-by-step ways to improve our memory? There's very quickly, they said, be talkative. Telling a story. Sharing ideas, sharing experiences. Tell your story. They're like, get it out. Tell everyone. Tell anyone. Share the experiences with each other. You can share in the experiences with each other. And they're saying, and you know, they're saying have a curiosity, like have curiosity about each other. And they're saying like, almost like don't be alone in your life experiences. They're like, that's no fun, you know, like have everyone share in storytelling, in your storytelling. So they're saying like, you know, gathering around with friends and family and community. But there's something about, they're showing like a circle of friends sitting at a table together, and some people are more talkative than others. And they're saying like, for those who like talk a lot and share a lot of stories and talk a lot about themselves and their experiences, they're like, have more of an awareness of like your quieter friends, like your quieter people. Inquire, ask questions, have curiosity, like open them up, like initiate, ask each other questions. They're saying like soapbox, like so many people are on their soapbox, just like hogging the mic and not having an awareness. And they're saying like, be unwavering in telling a story and telling your stories, but also initiate and encourage a quieter person, like your shy friend or your silent friend. Ask them a question, invite them to share a story. They're showing this as like a big problem of like, again, like the lack of awareness of like each other and sharing experiences just through talking. So they're just saying like, share experiences. This is like step by step. It's like, if you're someone who talks a lot, have the self-awareness to know when you're talking so damn much, sharing like all your experiences, but you're not like reciprocating, initiating, passing the mic. Like, have other people, encourage other people to talk. I'm just getting that there are a lot of really overbearing people, overbearing like each other with experiences, other people with their experiences, and not sharing the space for a shared experience. They're showing like the desperation of like people who are like, see me, hear me, like, like it's just so like, they're kind of saying like outnumbered, basically. We're like outnumbered by people who just talk so damn much and have no self-awareness that there are other people. And I'm getting like the value of that shared experiences is like dismissed or diminished because it's one-sided. Like one person talked so damn much versus like kind of inviting everyone to contribute. But some people are shy and quiet, and like having that reciprocity and that initiation of like, hey, like, what about you? Like, do you have anything you want to share? Do you have anything similar that you've experienced? And just inviting people, they're saying like the quieter, shyer people to like engage in the experience with each other. Because they're saying like, you know, it really is dependent on shared experiences and talking and sharing and telling our stories. So they're also, you know, they're giving the examples of like, you know, write books, write poetry, like write in journals, like do all the things. But they're showing if you do it in a vacuum, if you're just doing it alone in solitude, you're not sharing the experiences per se, right? So they're kind of like, if you're like writing in journals and getting all your experiences down, kind of keeping them to yourself, like they're like, publish a book, you know, just doing something to share the experiences. Like they're saying like memorable, like memorabilia and memorability. And this is why so many people love to write books, to share experiences and to offer this connection. And they're showing like this interesting thing where it's kind of like, they're saying the book population, like the people who read books, there's like not all, but like many, so many tend to be on the quieter side. And so like they're finding their shared connection through books versus like maybe talking and being social with a group of friends. So there are many ways to improve our memory, but it really is about telling your stories, talking about your life, and having the initiation and the invitation to have each other share experiences and talk about their lives. What outside factors affect our memory retention and loss? So start with the first one. What outside factors affect our memory retention? They're saying like overwhelm, thinking like too much, way too much, and like all the distractions. Because I'm getting like, you might be trying to have an experience and it's getting robbed. It's getting stolen by some distraction. And they're like, useless, useless. So the distractions, the interruptions of a moment, and they're showing like a couple, they're showing friends, they're showing family, they're showing all these people together, like, you know, out having dinner or like out having drinks, and they're engaging, and someone's stupid phone starts ringing or vibrates or buzzes, and that person goes right into their phone. And it's just like, they're like, what the fuck? Like, you just robbed yourself of an experience by getting interrupted by this distraction. And they're kind of like, it can wait. Like, it can take away from your experiences. Like, instead of just like being there and really like marinating the experience, right? So they're like, the way we go to concerts now, right? Today. And they're like, likely tomorrow. Like, they're like, the way that we experience these like big, profound opportunities to, you know, develop and create these beautiful memories. You're going to a concert and you're just like, they're playing your favorite song and you're just like, oh my God. And instead of us just sitting there and basking and marinating in the vibrations, like running through our pores into our muscles, like we feel it in our bodies, and looking at the people around us and smiling and dancing and singing along, instead of just immersing in the vibration of the moment, the movement, we're like, you know, like with our phones, like recording the shit to watch it later. And they're like, but do you even watch it later, really? And so they're like, you would have way more of a profound moment. You would be in the movement, in the vibration of it, if you just like go deeper. They're like, go deeper into the impact. They like, even like close your eyes, like in those moments of something really potent and special. If it's meant to be heard and felt, then close your eyes and go deeper into hearing and feeling and explore, and just kind of be like, like I'm just embodying this moment. Yes. And if it's something to witness, to see, having your eyes open and listening to the sounds and letting it come into your ears, just like, like, wow, look at this beautiful sunset, this beautiful mountain, this beautiful beach. And just like immersing yourself. So it's like the eyes take it in and the ears take it in and the smells take it in, like taking these moments in with your senses. So they're like, go deeper into the experience, and not these like, what the fuck distractions and interruptions of something as like stupid as your phone, you know? And they're like, emergencies, like we get like emergencies, you know? But like when you don't anticipate or have expectations for something serious to interrupt you, tune it out. Because a beautiful experience, a beautiful memory is almost like half-assed. It's like half created because you pulled yourself out of the moment. You pulled yourself out of the experience. So those are outside factors that affect our memory retention and loss. Affects memory loss. Anything else? What outside factors affect our memory retention or loss? They're just saying distractions and interruptions. Anything else? They're just saying listening, like silent listening. And like making the choice of like kind of like being in the moment. And also you can intentionally kind of make the choice of just like, I want to hold this memory. Like in your mind, like to yourself, be like, I'm really going to take this in right now. And then like take a moment and take in the experience and really take it in. And they're like, sometimes those experiences, they're so moving and you embody them so much that they create this like emotional release. And you might cry of joy. You might cry of sorrow. You might cry of something. And it's just like, you're really experiencing the moment, the movement. And it's like, that's when it's like, it's moving through your body. Like you're so embodied by the movement. They're like of life, of living, of love, of these warm bonds and connections. What's the most important message we need to know about memory? What's the most important message we need to know about memory? They're like, distractions are a memory killer. Your interruptions are a memory killer. They're saying, like, initiate the choice, like make initiation of the choice to the memory, to the experience. Intention for retention, like embody the memory experience, the full experience, explore, get curious, inquire, include. It's like they're showing like someone having an incredible experience and being like, oh my God, come here, get into this experience, get into this. You know, it's almost like you're, you know, they're saying like symbolically, but also sometimes literally. It's like you're having this beautiful moment and you're like, you're with your friends or you're with family or, you know, whatever. And you're just like, hey, like, get into this picture. Let's take a picture. Let's capture this moment together, you know, but you can do it without the picture. You know, you could just bring people in. Like, oh my God, do you feel that? Oh my God, like, do you see this? It's like, come here. And like the curiosity, the exploration, but including people in the experience, like bring them into the experience. And then it's like, they're showing you like grabbing all your people and you're just like, isn't it great to be alive? And capture this moment. And like, it's about being inclusive and bringing people into your shared experiences. So the most important message about memory is inclusivity, like the intention for retention, and it's a choice. It's a choice to be in the memory, to be in the experience, and to choose not to have the interruptions and not to have the distractions. And they're showing like, if you know that you are going to have an important experience, if there's a very important thing, they're showing like, really turn your phone off. Like really turn your phone off. If not emergency, if you're not expecting some sort of emergency and you're waiting for something important, just turn the damn thing off, because you are robbing yourself. And they're like, we're bombarded with so much social media interactions that like nothing means anything anymore. So they're like, you might see this beautiful artwork on social media, or you might hear this incredible song, and then it's like, yeah, but what about this one? How about this next song? How about this next piece of artwork? How about this next experience? How about this next thing? And then you're flooded with so much that there's no memory retention. So they're saying this is a huge collective problem. Like that's a collective, they're saying, dilemma. The confusion, the bombardment with information where we can't retain anything. And so they're kind of saying like, our memories are like slipping through our fingers. And things are happening so fast that like, they're kind of saying we can't be bothered. We almost can't be bothered with a memory. That's very interesting. There's something about that. We don't have time to sit in the experience. We don't have time to be in the memory. And they're just like, that's the point. Like, that's the point. Is like, that's the problem and that's the point. They're saying that's the point to make it. You have to make it a point to be in the experience. You have to have the intention and the initiation and the retention. Otherwise, they're like, they're showing like, as we get older, they're saying like dementia, Alzheimer's disease, like all this stuff is on the rise because we have like zero memory retention. We have no patience. We're fast forwarding our lives to such a degree that like almost like nothing in life matters enough to like be in the experience and embody it and share in the experience. Like, they're showing like, oh my God, this flood of like memories slipping through our fingers, like as if they're showing like a waterfall. Like I have my hands in a waterfall, and they're like, this is how much, like you can't hold on to a waterfall. You can't take in more information. And they're like, why is it so important? More, next. Bigger, better. And they're like, versus like sharing the life experience with each other and like taking a moment to really be embodied in it. They're showing like us being like swept away, like our lives being like swept away. Almost like it didn't happen. Almost like it doesn't exist, or it's like they're showing us getting to the end of our lives and things moving so fast that we're just like, did I have a life? Like what just happened? Like I had so much stuff, but I wasn't necessarily embodied in my life experience. I didn't have these deep, memorable experiences, sharing the experiences. And so it feels very like thinking, like our life experience is like versus like in the body and like, I'm here, I'm alive, this is my life experience. I'm sharing this life experience. I'm embodied. I feel bonded and loved and connected to all these people in my life. Like, they're saying wholesome. Versus this like speedway, this like fast forward. And then we're going to get to the end of our lives and be like, what happened? And they're like, they're kind of saying no worries, no memories. Huh. No worries. No memories. Like our overwhelm, our heightened sensitivity. There's like so much to be worried about, or like, fuck it, no worries, but also no experiences. So they're just saying share the experiences, tell your story. Life is embodied. Life is in the moment. Life is in the experience. You, as a living human being, are meant to be shared in the experience of living as human beings in the world. And they're like, that's it. Love, bond, connection, interconnection, inclusivity. Come here, get everybody together in the moment. Or like capture the moment, yes, but also like embody the moment, embody the experiences. And then they're like, otherwise, like no more experiences. They're like, boop, vanish. Like the moment vanishes, all those moments vanish, your life just vanishes. What happened? Do you remember what happened? So they're like, slow down the life experience and take advantage of the embodiment of being a living human being in all of its forms. Okay. So that was the Akashic Records on memory. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any reflections or comments or questions, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.